If I asked you what the most powerful invention in human history is, what would you say? Maybe the printing press, the internet, or electricity. All of those are huge. But what if I told you that the most game-changing invention is not tangible? It's just an idea, a concept we all agree on: money. Think about it. Money doesn't exist in nature. You can't dig it up like gold or catch it like fish. It's a story we've all bought into, yet it shapes our entire world. It determines what we eat, where we live, and even how we view success. Money only works because we all agree that it does. It's an abstract idea that's had an enormous impact, and it's more powerful than any physical invention ever could be. So how did this idea, this illusion, come to dominate everything? Let's go back in time to figure it out. In today's video, we're diving into the story of money, where it started, how it evolved, and why it's often called humanity's greatest illusion. By the end of this, you'll see money in a completely different way. Let's get into it. Welcome to Flourish in Wealth, where financial freedom begins. First off, let's take a step back and think about how we used to do business before money was even a thing. Imagine you're living thousands of years ago, long before money existed. You have something valuable, like a goat, and you need shoes. The problem, you have to find someone who needs a goat and happens to make shoes. That's called the double coincidence of wants. And let me tell you, it was a logistical nightmare. Even when you did find someone to trade with, how do you agree on the value? Is one goat worth one pair of shoes? 2. What about something less tangible, like a service? It was messy and inefficient. But then humans had a light bulb moment. What if we had something everyone agreed was valuable so we didn't have to play this endless trading game? And that's how money was born. It wasn't perfect at first, but it was revolutionary. So then, money became a universal medium of exchange, making trade much easier. Hey, if you think money is still the easiest way to exchange value today, drop the word money in the comments section. I want to hear from you. And if you're finding value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps the algorithm, and it really supports the channel so I can keep bringing you more content like this. Let's get back to it. Fast forward to 770 BC in China, and we get the first metal coins. Imagine the relief. These coins were made from metals like bronze, silver, and gold, and their value was tied to the material itself. Let's break it down. Say you're trading a coin made of silver. Its worth wasn't just in what people believed, it was in the actual silver, which was scarce and useful. This made trade simpler and more consistent. Now this is where the real shift happens. People started using coins made out of metals like gold and silver. Why? Because they were rare, durable, and easy to carry around. These coins weren't just some random piece of metal. They had value because people agreed they did. But hold up, this is where the story gets interesting. As governments and rulers began using coins to expand their wealth, they started messing with the metals inside them, making them less valuable, but still calling them the same thing. You see, the value of money was no longer tied to the actual material inside the coin. It was all about trust. Trust that the coin would be accepted as valuable. That's the first shift. Now let's jump to medieval China, where paper money was born. Picture this. Instead of carrying heavy coins, you had a piece of paper that said, "I owe you X amount of gold or silver." Convenient, right? At first, it was all backed by physical assets. The paper was just a promise, and you could exchange it for actual gold or silver if you wanted. But over time, something happened. Governments realized they could print more money without having to back it up with gold. And guess what? They did it. They now didn't need to keep all that gold and silver lying around. They could issue paper money without the backing, as long as people believed it had value. And that's where the illusion of money truly took hold. This is where we get into the whole concept of fiat money. Money that has no intrinsic value, except for the trust people have in it. Alright guys, let's talk about fiat currency. Here's the deal. Today, the majority of the money we use every day is fiat currency. What's that? Simply put, it's money that has no intrinsic value. It's not backed by gold, silver, or anything else of physical worth. It's valuable only because the government says it is. Think about it for a second. That piece of paper in your wallet or the numbers you see in your bank account, what is it really worth? If you were to take a bill and try to trade it with someone, what would you get in return? It's not like the bill itself is made from something rare or valuable like gold or diamonds. Its worth only exists because we, as a society, trust that we can exchange it for goods and services. The moment the trust breaks down, the value of that currency evaporates. Let me give you a real-world example that most of us can relate to. The COVID-19 pandemic. When the world went into lockdown, governments across the globe reacted by printing massive amounts of money to try and stimulate the economy. The US alone printed trillions of dollars in relief funds with the hope that it would boost businesses, help people, and get things back on track. At first, this move seemed to work. People got relief checks, businesses received bailouts, and the economy began to move again. But here's the thing. The massive increase in the supply of money also created some unexpected problems. more money started chasing the same amount of goods. And when there's more money in circulation but no increase in the supply of goods or services, what happens? Prices start to go up. This is what we call inflation. Inflation is just a fancy term for when the value of money goes down and prices rise. Think about it. Things like groceries, gas, and even homes became more expensive. And why? Because there was a lot more money floating around. But the actual number of things to buy stayed the same. It's basic supply and demand. Here's where the trust aspect really comes into play. If people start to lose confidence in the value of their currency, if they start feeling like money isn't worth as much as it used to be, well then the problem gets worse. As the value of money decreases, people need more of it to buy the same things. They start demanding higher wages just to keep up. Businesses, in turn, raise their prices to cover costs, and the cycle continues. This is exactly what happened during the pandemic. The government printed more money to deal with the crisis, but it created the unintended consequence of inflation. And let's be clear, inflation doesn't just affect the rich. It hurts everyone, especially people who are already struggling. It makes it harder for you to stretch that paycheck, harder to save, and harder to get ahead. But here's the thing, this whole system works only as long as people trust it. If confidence in fiat money starts to slip, the entire system starts to break down. Imagine if tomorrow people suddenly stopped believing in the dollar. They wouldn't accept it in exchange for goods, and the value of your money would tank. This is why trust in the government, in financial institutions, and in the economy is so critical to the stability of the money system. So, as much as we might take money for granted, it's really all based on trust. We trust that the money in our wallets will be accepted by others in exchange for what we need. We trust that it will hold its value and be a useful medium of exchange. And we trust that the system that backs it up will keep functioning. Without that trust, money would just be paper, worthless really. This is why, even though fiat currency seems intangible or fake in some ways, it has real power. When we understand how much trust plays into this system, we can see why things like inflation, economic downturns, or currency devaluation have such massive effects on our lives, and why it's so important to understand the forces at play when it comes to money. So here we are. Money is just an idea. It's not backed by gold or silver anymore. It's not tangible like salt shells or even the paper it's printed on. It's a concept, a belief that we as a society have all agreed to accept. Essentially, it only holds value because we say it does. But here's the twist. Just because something is an illusion doesn't mean it's weak or useless. In fact, this illusion is incredibly powerful. It's what keeps the entire global economy running smoothly. Think about it. When you head to the store and swipe your card to buy groceries, you're not physically handing over a chunk of gold or a valuable object. You're using money, something that only holds value because everyone believes it does. It's the collective trust in money that makes the system work. If you went to the store tomorrow and handed over a gold coin instead of paper currency, the cashier might look at you like you've lost your mind. Why? Because we no longer rely on gold or silver as money. It's the idea behind the currency that holds the value. But don't mistake this idea for weakness. The fact that we can all agree on something that isn't physically real is exactly what powers the global economy. Think about how often we use money without even thinking about it. You can send money across the world with the click of a button, using nothing more than an app on your phone. It's just numbers on a screen, but it's trusted. It's real enough to buy things, pay for services, and even change lives. Money's power lies in its shared belief. When billions of people around the world trust that money will always hold value in some way, we can trade, build economies, and create businesses. We can make investments and take out loans. The entire concept of a global economy would collapse if this idea were to shatter. And that's why understanding this truth is so crucial. Now, I'm not saying money is nothing, far from it. The fact that we all believe in it and that we've built entire systems around it makes it more than just paper or numbers in a bank account. It makes money one of the most powerful tools ever created. When you start seeing money for what it really is, a shared belief system, you start realizing how much control you can have over it. It's the reason why, even though money itself might seem like a mere idea, it can influence everything in your life. From your personal choices to how businesses operate, and even how countries interact. It's why people spend entire careers trying to understand how to work with money, grow their wealth, and protect their assets. The illusion isn't the problem. The power lies in how that illusion shapes our reality. Money's power also means that it can work for you if you know how to leverage it. Whether it's through smart investing, building a business, or understanding the economy, money can act as a tool that, when used wisely, can create opportunities, freedom, and a better quality of life. But again, it's all about how you think about it and how you decide to use it. So next time you swipe that card or log into your bank account, remember this. Money is just an idea, but it's an idea that has the potential to make things happen on a personal scale and a global one. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, Make sure to check out my other video here for more money tips and ways to take control of your finances. You won't want to miss it.